Hi class, this is Russ. So this week we will start Module 3, working on advanced graphical user interfaces. And there's really not an appreciable departure in this module from the work or the examples that we did um, in Module 2. So not a whole lot is introduced in this particular module, although there's some interesting literature in your text dealing with more advanced user interface components such as working with menus, radio buttons, list boxes, and other more advanced controls, which I would encourage you to read and might be useful for your portfolio project for this class. So I thought I'd clue you in on a couple of things we can do with uh, Module 3 critical thinking assignment. Um, it does involve, again, creating a user interface. So let's do an example here. So let's do a Java project. We'll call it CTA3, and we'll put it in our program folder. Let's see, where's a good place? 372, module 3, um, program. We'll make it here, place it here, and next. Okay, finish. All right. So, so what do we need here? We need a new class, right? So file new class. Other, right? We need an other because we're dealing with a user interface. So we need our window builder, a JFrame will suffice. So next, and we'll call it our time and date display. Time date display. Okay, so we'll call it that, right? So here's our constructor for our main, implements JFrame. So this is all computer generated, very nice. So we can go to our design page, design tab that is. Wait a couple of seconds for it to render. Okay, so here's our initial frame. Con Notice that it's composed of a content pane. Let's go ahead and use the absolute layout for it. Okay, so there's our absolute layout, so we can drag and drop components at will. What do we need? We need probably some sort of title bar, right? So I need some more real estate. Let's see if I can do it on this tiny screen. Where's my label? Let's see, we need a J label. And so we'll call it, what can we call it? What can we put in this for text? So we'll say instead of new label, we'll go time and date display. Okay. All right. And we can center it, vertical align, horizontal center, and anything else. Okay. All right. And let's see, for our JFrame, can we give our JFrame a title? Does it have a title? Yes, it does. Okay, so we'll call it CTA-3. Okay. All right, so let's see what we've got here. It's always a good idea to periodically check it, see if everything is functioning properly before we get too involved. Okay, so CTA3 time and date display. So here's the framework for which we will begin. All right, so the first thing I always like to do is put an exit button. I always like to find a way out whenever I do something like this. So we need a button. Where are J buttons? J buttons components. Where's our J button? Somewhere around here. Is it? Yeah, here we go, J button. Okay, so we'll put it, and then this will be our I guess we could just type quit, right? Okay, and then of course the callback is, this is the callback. This actually does the logic when you click on the button. So we'll go system.exit 0. Come on, computer, catch up. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we can validate the functionality of the quit button. Okay, so and it quits. Okay, good. So let's go back to our design. And so we need, I thought I'd just go ahead and do both aspects, demonstrate both the functionalities of both of the CTAs for module 3. So we need a date button. Okay, so let's, we need a label. So let's put a label here. And we can say text, click. Well, no, actually, I don't want to do that. That's not what I had in mind. I'm thinking we need a button, right? So let's put a button here, J button. Let's go right to it. Okay, so we'll call this, I guess we should give our buttons meaningful names. So let's call this button get date. Okay, and let's call the text. Why does it keep jumping? Okay, Eclipse still has a ways to go as far as this functionality. But anyway, the text will be get date. Okay. All right. And I guess while we're at it, we could call this, rename the button. We'll call this button right here, button quit. Button quit. Okay. All right. Okay. And then so here we have a get date button, and we'll have a get time button. So we'll call this button get time. Okay. And then of course when we click on the get date button, we want the date to be displayed. So we need a JText area, okay, for our date. So we'll put our, okay, so we'll call this text date. Okay, so what's going to happen is we click on the get date button, the date will be computed, and then it'll be displayed in this text box right here. And so we need a text time. All right, so okay, so we'll call this text time. Okay, now as far as the text boxes go, we don't want users entering any text in them, so we'll disable them. And let's see here. I don't anticipate the line wrapping. One row is sufficient. We don't need to add any more rows. Let's see what else. Probably the font style. Is there a way to change the font style? Yeah. Make sure the font is small enough to display. So 13 is probably too big. Maybe an 11-point font style is okay. And I should do the same here. Make it 11-point font style. And disable users being able to write text into them. So enabled. False, editable, false. Should make this uneditable. Okay, so you can't write to them, and you can't manipulate the contents of these boxes. So they're basically locked. Okay. All right. So what happens when we run this? Does it work? Let's see what we get. Okay. So right now there are no. Oops, I need to change this to get time, right? Okay. So let me change the text here to get time. Okay. So that's better, more meaningful. Okay. So now let's try it. Okay, so this is our interface, our user interface, and now it's just a matter of wiring in the logic for these two buttons. Okay, and we'll talk about that. And then I think there's a requirement that not only when you click the button, not only does it display the date, but it changes the background color. And I'll show you a method where you can use potentially, I guess, over 2 million different types of colors for this rather than the five that the requirement is. So we'll discuss that as the week goes on as well. Okay, so that'll be it now for Monday's brief lesson.